Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to talk about something that will literally change the way you look at any purchase you make, big or small. We're talking about making smarter decisions by looking way beyond that tempting sticker price.
You know the feeling, right? We've all been there. You're staring at two options, and one is just way cheaper. It feels like a total no-brainer. But asking this simple question is exactly where huge mistakes get made. Is the lowest price really the best value?
Yeah, this is what we call the lowest price trap. It's got this powerful, almost magnetic pull, doesn't it? That low initial cost just grabs you. It makes you focus on the money you're saving right now, and it kind of blinds you to the money you might end up losing down the road. It feels like a short-term win that can easily become a long-term headache. So, how do we escape this trap? Well, it's all about changing the way we see the problem. We need to make a shift from thinking in price to thinking in total cost. And that brings us to the powerful idea at the heart of our explainer today, total cost of ownership. Okay, so what exactly is total cost of ownership, or TCO for short? Well, think of it as a financial estimate of all the costs, both the obvious ones and the hidden ones, that come with owning something over its entire life. It's not just the purchase price. We're talking everything from shipping and setup to maintenance, repairs, and even getting rid of it at the end. It's the whole story from start to finish. And this right here perfectly shows the two different mindsets. A focus on price, that's short-term thinking. It's just a snapshot of what you're spending today. But a TCO focus, that's the long game. It considers the full impact over time and aims for the best overall value, not just the cheapest price tag. One's a snapshot, the other is the entire movie. And look, this isn't just some nice theory. The research on this is really clear. Businesses that actually use TCO models to make decisions, they have far fewer nasty surprises down the line. They don't suddenly find themselves pouring money into a cheap solution that keeps breaking down. They plan for the real costs from the very beginning. So the most important part is understanding these hidden costs. I want you to think of a purchase like an iceberg. The price you pay up front, that's just a tiny little tip you can see above the water. The real danger, the bulk of the cost, is all that ice hiding right beneath the surface. These are the kinds of things that turn a great deal sour, and they come in all different flavors. You've got your operational costs, like shipping, but then you have the really big strategic costs, like downtime. I mean, if your cheaper software crashes constantly, how much productivity are you losing? What if a less reliable supplier causes delays that get your business hit with penalties? These are the real-world costs that TCO forces you to actually think about. To really bring this all home, let's look at a quick case study from our source material. This is the perfect cautionary tale of what happens when a company falls right into that lowest price trap we've been talking about. The setup is simple. A manufacturer needed a new vendor for a critical component. They had two different quotes sitting on the table. One was noticeably cheaper than the other, so the choice seemed obvious. Or was it? And here's the anatomy of that bad decision. First, the choice. They went with the lowest price. Next, the oversight. They completely ignored the risk of delays from a less proven vendor. The consequence was almost inevitable. The cheaper vendor couldn't deliver on time, and it brought their entire production line to a grinding halt. And the reality of it all? The final cost, once you factor in all that downtime and disruption, was astronomically higher than the initial quote. This story just perfectly highlights the power of seeing the whole picture. If the manufacturer had used a TCO mindset from the start, the outcome would have been completely different. In fact, you know what? Let's look at the actual numbers. And this chart just brilliantly illustrates the whole concept. Look at vendor A, the cheap option. A $50,000 price tag, but a staggering $75,000 in hidden costs from delays and problems for a total of $125,000. Now look at vendor B. Yeah, a higher initial price at $65,000, but they were reliable. Their hidden costs were only $10,000. Their total cost was just $75,000. The choice is so obvious when you see the whole picture. The more expensive vendor was actually the cheaper option by $50,000. It's incredible. So, this is the key takeaway. This is the mental shift we all need to make. The next time you're faced with a big decision, stop yourself from asking, "What's the price?" and instead train yourself to ask a much better question. What's the real cost over time? And that's really what I want to leave you with. Whether you're choosing a new car, picking out new software for your company, or even just buying a new appliance for your home, just take a moment. Look beyond the price tag. Think about the hidden costs, the reliability, the entire life cycle. So I'll ask you, what's the TCO of your next big decision?